The stadium lights were off. The fans had gone home. And yet, the whispers had already begun. Did you hear what Ohtani did again? Nobody knew the full story. Only fragments. Only rumors. But one thing was certain, it didn't happen on the mound, and it didn't happen in the batter's box. It happened far beyond the foul lines, somewhere no cameras were supposed to be. People said it started with a simple gesture. Something small. Something nobody noticed at first. But with Ohtani, nothing stays small for long. By the time dawn broke over Los Angeles, social media was a wildfire. Shohei did what? Is this real? How can one person be this good? And the most haunting comment of all, is he even human? Because this time, Ohtani wasn't hitting home runs. He wasn't throwing 101-mile-per-hour fastballs. He was doing something else. Something deeper. Something that made even the toughest, most cynical sports fans stop scrolling. It began with an unexpected appearance. Early morning. No entourage. No announcement. Just Shohei, quiet, humble, walking into a place nobody expected him to visit. A children's center that needed help. A group that had no idea he was coming. And he didn't come for photos. He didn't come for attention. He came for something rarer. He came to listen. Witnesses said he stayed for hours. He played with the kids. Talked to the staff. Asked questions. Not surface-level questions, the kind only someone with a genuine heart would ask. And then, without telling anyone, he made a commitment. A promise. A plan to support them long-term. Not just money. Not just publicity. Something far more personal. He told them he would be back. When the news leaked, people refused to believe it. Athletes don't do this. Not during the season. Not quietly, without cameras. But that was the thing, he didn't want anyone to know. Someone only found out because a volunteer recognized him. They saw him kneeling in the hallway, tying a child's shoelaces, smiling like an older brother who'd been part of their lives forever. And that single photo, unposed, blurry, taken from a distance, detonated across the internet. He's an angel. He's the closest thing to a saint in sports. Is Shohei Ohtani the reincarnation of kindness itself? The world was stunned. Because this wasn't charity for headlines. This wasn't PR. This was character. Pure, unfiltered character in a world that desperately needed a hero. But the story didn't end there. Later that night, reporters asked him about it. And he laughed. A soft, embarrassed laugh. Like someone caught doing something they didn't want praised for. He said, "It's nothing. Just something I wanted to do." Nothing. No, it wasn't nothing. It was everything. Because in a sports era dominated by controversies, scandals, and noise, Ohtani was doing the opposite. He was choosing kindness. Choosing humility. Choosing to stay unseen while doing good. And that mystery made it even more powerful. Teammates hinted at more. He does things none of you hear about, one said. Things he doesn't want credit for. Another added, he's different. He's built different, in the best way. Some even claimed he's been doing this for years. Quiet donations. Surprise visits. Letters sent to people going through hard times. Not one of them shared publicly by him. And fans began to ask the question everyone was afraid to say aloud. Is he too good for this world? Because the more they searched, the more they found. Stories, messages, screenshots, moments, all pointing toward one truth: Ohtani's greatness doesn't start on the field. It starts in his heart. People who met him described a presence that felt almost unreal. Calm, gentle, pure, the kind of energy that makes even strangers feel safe. And somehow, that made his athletic brilliance make even more sense. How could someone so soft-spoken slam baseballs into orbit? How could someone so humble overpower hitters with pitches that seem to bend physics? How could one human being be both a storm and a sunrise? Maybe greatness, real greatness, begins with character. Maybe the reason he dominates the sport is because he's never been distracted by ego. Never poisoned by fame. Never tempted to become anything other than Shohei. The kid who still smiles like he's playing a game he loves. The man who still acts like he owes the world kindness it never even asked for. So tonight, the world isn't talking about home runs. They're not talking about trophies. They're not arguing about stats. They're talking about a moment nobody saw coming. A moment that happened off camera, behind closed doors, where a superstar became something even bigger. A symbol. A reminder. Proof that heroes don't just exist, sometimes they walk among us. And maybe that's why the whispers grew louder. Is he even real? How can one person be this good? Is Ohtani the closest thing we have to a modern-day saint? But the truth is simpler. Shohei Ohtani is human. Beautifully, brilliantly human. And that's what makes his kindness hit harder than any home run. Because someday, the records will fade. The stats will be replaced. The highlights will become memories. But gestures like this, they last forever. Not in the history books, but in the hearts of the people who saw, felt, and were changed by them. So when you hear someone say, Ohtani did something unbelievable again, remember this. Sometimes the most powerful moments in sports happen nowhere near a field. And Shohei Ohtani, he just proved that the greatest victories are the ones nobody sees.